Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I am giving you a taste of an oldie but a goodie that was on my old YouTube channel. And this was back from 7/20/2020. It's my favorite alcohol ink painting that I've ever done so far. And now watching this video again, I realize why. It's a long one. It's about 33 minutes long. I did cut it out. It was 58 minutes long, but it was important to watch the whole thing because the most intricate part is that center, and it really pops. So I hope you enjoy this video. And again, I apologize for the length, but if you really want to learn how to do alcohol ink painting, this is a video to watch. Enjoy.
Hi everybody. I'm going to do an alcohol ink. This is for my friend Jenny. I don't know how well this will go. I've never videotaped me doing an alcohol ink, but let's get started. I don't know if it turns out, then I guess you'll see this. So I'm going to use 3 inks. I have 2 kinds of inks. I have Pinata, which is from Jacquard, and also Ranger ink, alcohol inks, and those are my favorites. So Pinata is a little bit thicker, so it stays in place a little bit longer as far as when you're trying to blow out the flowers. So the colors I'm using are Baja Blue in Pinata, or from Jacquard, Sunset Orange, which is a Ranger ink, and Pitch Black. I'm gonna kind of layer these. I'm gonna make a center to start with. I have an airbrush and a heat gun, and both of those things I use when I'm doing this type of stuff. So let's just get started. So I'm gonna put down Pinata first. I have to try to aim for the center. I'm not usually good at that. Just gonna put a drop there. Then I'm gonna use my heat gun. It already kind of did what I didn't want it to do, but that's okay. I might make that spot a little bit bigger, actually. I'm gonna dry it. Do a nice circular motion with the heat gun. It's a really pretty color. The next color I'm going to use is the Pitch Black, and this Pitch Black does wonderful things. You can just use Pitch Black and you'll have all kinds of different colors just with it alone. But this gives the petals a really pretty black edge. Okay, 1 drop is probably enough with that. I'm going to dry it again. I dry between each layer. And the last coat I'm gonna do is the orange. It's Sunset Orange. I'm hoping I don't get resin dust all over the place. I've been sanding down resin this morning. Don't worry about these little bits that get on the Yupo paper. They'll come out. So this is probably going to be a variety of colors, and I'm still not square in the middle, am I? It happens all the time. I guess at some point I'm going to have to start marking that. Okay, so here's my airbrush, and my airbrush the way I have it set, gonna try to set it to where I would like it to be. So that's the highest PSI, I think that's called. I'm gonna take that down a little bit by turning this knob. Every airbrush is different. Still pretty fast. So what I'm trying to aim for with this is big petals. And so the air gun, how you do the air gun is really important, because the air gun, if you're aiming straight out like this with the air gun, you're gonna have all kinds of weird results. But if you are doing it backwards and you have a fairly big puddle of alcohol, you can make the big petals come out. The alcohol I'm using, it's industrial grade, 99+% purity. The higher the alcohol content, the better the alcohol inks turn out, because it dries faster. As far as you don't have a lot of water, basically. So here we go, and I'm going to put a fairly big puddle for the first one. And you let it set for a minute, be very patient. So that first one doesn't look great, but we'll be going around again. So fairly big puddle. I'm gonna let it set. That's a better one. And you have to go all the way out till it dries. I'm gonna let that set. See these beautiful edges, and that's from the pitch black. So keep going around in a circle. I have a tendency to overwork things too. I'm going to try not to do that. That one kind of went off on its own, didn't it? Wait for just a second. The way it gets all the colors combined that it wants to. One of the darker ones I've done. There we go. You just keep going around until it's where you want it to be. That Baja Blue, sometimes with these other colors, you have to apply them again to keep going around, but this Baja Blue stays true for quite a while. And that was a humongous petal. That's okay. Okay. Okay, yeah. See this really pretty stuff out here? I wish it would do that right there, but we're gonna call that the shadow. That'll be the shadow area of the flower. So I have to reach over because what's holding my camera up, the stand, is the alcohol and my markers. So I need to reach in and get my markers. Okay. So we're gonna call this the shadow. So I first need to dab off, not with that one. I need to dab off this alcohol ink here. So with this being the shadow, we're gonna make the center have a shadow also. So these are acrylic markers. Just gonna round this off a little bit. There's nothing in nature that's perfect, so I've been told. So this does need to dry because it's acrylic, but I do that with my heat gun. So on low. This poor heat gun's been through a lot. Most recently, dealing with resin. And so I thought I broke it, but I didn't, thank goodness. I have one at the apartment, heat gun. I don't do resin at the apartment. And I have a heat gun for here. And I thought that I was gonna have a problem with this one, but because I couldn't get it to go on the low setting, but now it does fine. It's got a low and a high. So now we've got this black center. So, what I've been doing lately with my flowers is I like to try to make them look 3D, which that has been working out fairly well. This is another acrylic marker, and it has an edge, something that I can make thin lines with. I've been doing a lot of practicing on how to make better centers. Boy, this is just not cooperating very well. Okay. So remember I said that this is going to be the shadow part. So the majority of my dots that are really, really white are going to be down here. And this is going to have, so I'm going to put white dots up there too. But it's not going to have as many white dots because that's in shadow. So you want to try to make it look 3D. So dots and marks. So I'm going to blend this white in with another color for the top to make it more of a shadow. I've tried doing the center with alcohol ink markers, and I do have those too. But I have more luck with acrylic markers doing that. Please feel free to try whatever you want to try to get the effect you want. But I have luck doing it this way. Trying to get this done before the rain, because that makes my petals not very good if it's raining. So I'm gonna use a gray, maybe. It doesn't have the right tip on it. We'll try it. Yeah, it's doing fine. Wow, that is looking nice. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of gray down here, not a lot. I have all kinds of tools that I use, dotting tools and stuff, and that was really, I was using those when I was trying to do the centers with, they look like this, these little dotting tools. That's actually too thick of an edge, but it also works with acrylics, these do, because it kind of gives it more of that 3D effect. I shouldn't have put my white away, I don't think. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit more white work here. My arm is a little shaky this morning. I was using a sander for quite a bit of the morning, and I feel like it's in control of itself, and I'm not in control of this arm. I did enjoy myself though, using the sander. I'm glad that I didn't realize that we had it right here in the house, in the basement where my acrylic, where my studio is. And Kenny was home in his home office one day, and I'm like, do we have a sander? And of course I knew we did, I just didn't know where it was. And he's like, yeah, it's right underneath the workbench that's in my studio. And I'm like, oh, so I've been using that like crazy. I actually brought one of the paintings that I thought that was one of my favorite paintings. I sanded off. I had made the mistake of resining it when the resin was almost too hot to work with, and it ruined the painting, or so I thought. But now with the sander, I can bring it back to life, and I have. It's something that I'm going to keep for myself, only because it turned out really. It was really pretty, but I had an intention of selling it, but ever since the whole I resined it wrong thing, and now that I've scratched some of the canvas trying to get that stuff off this morning, I'm for sure going to keep it for myself. I have to do some work on it though. If you can see down here, the black, the pitch black is coming through on my white marker, and you can kind of see some pink coming through there. And that's just the alcohol. That's what that pitch black alcohol ink does. One thing you have to have when doing alcohol inks is patience. Same thing with resin. But doing this, and I have some issues with anxiety and stuff like that, and this kind of stuff just really, really relaxes me. If I'm having a bad day, I have this at my apartment too. I have alcohol inks at my apartment, but so if I'm having a bad day, I go and I do some of that, and that helps me clear my mind, and get control of myself. All right, what do we think, guys? I want to make that. I do want to use a little spray up there again. This is not the right. Oh, this one has one though. I'm gonna switch out the end. All right, now we've got the right chiseled end. Okay. There we go. So this is the shadow part, remember? So it's darker. Although not as dark as I'd like it. That's okay, I can fix that. Okay, so I am going to heat that up a little bit, and then I'm gonna add some black, which I didn't want to have to do that, but I will. So this is what happens to me every time I end up going over something. But this is part of the process, because I want it to have that shadowy look. Now I got the air gun. Believe it or not, I got this air gun off of Amazon. The one for my apartment I got at Hobby Lobby, and it's just a cheap, well, I guess it depends on your definition of cheap, cake decorating air gun. I was very happy with the price. I think it was $99, and it's also got a compressor. I think they still have them. I was very happy with that price, because I really wanted one for the apartment. I don't want to have to drag things back and forth. And of course, I was having the inkling of wanting to do alcohol inks that week, and I was not going to be home, and Kenny wasn't going to come up, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to get one. And I tend to do that. Drives my husband crazy, because he's like, I could have got that to you for your birthday. Well, I didn't want it for my birthday. I wanted it like now. So I have that tendency of doing stuff like that, and that's just me. That's how I am. Okay, so there's the center. I'm going to add, gonna add some dots here. How am I, 38 minutes. I'm gonna add some color of some of the colors that are in here. So I gotta reach over. Woo! Almost lost you guys. Sorry, pour. Was it yesterday? I don't think it was yesterday. I was kind of a slug yesterday. Don't want it. Oh, there we go again. I'm so sorry. Whoever's watching this, I apologize for my messiness. Okay, that one, or not messiness, but not that one. Clumsiness, I guess is what I meant. Yeah, I think so. Those two colors. So, and I also want to put some of the white around there and the gray, since I used both of those. But I can actually do dots of that now. So that is silver. I don't want silver, I want gray. That does not look like gray. Okay. Okay. And white. It's kind of become like a signature kind of thing for my flowers. And people tend to like it like that, like them like this. So kind of like to add it. What I have to get out of my head though is that things are not perfect, so I don't need to have as many on one side as I had on the other side. Now, when I was a kid, no laughing at me. When I was a kid, I thought everything had to be even on both sides. So, for instance, now people are going to really find out how crazy I am. For instance, if I touched a doorknob with my left hand, I had to reach over and touch it with my right hand. Everything seemed to be like that. I had to do everything equal. Now, this was probably up until I was 10, maybe? I don't know. But, yep, that's me. I did that. And it's kind of crazy, I know. Some people think I'm too honest. Well, I don't think you can be too honest. Honesty is important. So, okay. I feel like I need to do something. I'm gonna use barely a little bit of this white. These edges need to be cleaner, I think. Or messier, I should say. think I'm giving it more of a 3D effect. I like it. Okay. I feel like I'm losing it though. I'm losing the center. And this does not have a good end. Let's see if I can do something about that. Something brighter in there, I think. Where's my dotting tool? There. Some edges I'm not happy about. This helps. Because it's still wet. Alcohol ink dries really fast.